Good morning and welcome to More Tea Minister. My name is Ian. Today we are looking at another of my favourite kind of tea. We are looking at a bancha. And we're looking at a kind of bancha that we haven't touched upon before. It's called Sannenbancha, which means 3-year bancha. For those who are just catching up, bancha is a later in the season tea from Japan. It can be made into green tea, but because the leaves are tougher, older, coarser and more bitter, it can be and often is used for other tea products as well, whether that's preserving it or in this case a kind of farmer's tea called bancha. Sannenbancha, as I say, means 3-year bancha. Now what's particularly intriguing about this is that 3-year bancha, even by those who produce this kind of tea, they can interpret it one of two ways. It can mean that the tea is harvested and then aged for 3 years, or it means that the growth, the tea material, the plants that are harvested are themselves 3 years old, which isn't, of course, unusual for a tea field that's being harvested regularly. So it's a process often used for clearing out the undergrowth or the growth in an abandoned tea field, but the material can then be used. It's much better, of course, than wasting it. So the kind of Sannenbancha that we have here today is the 3-year-old bancha. In other words, the tea material that was being cut down was 3 years old. The vendor for this tea is Ayumi Life. The brand, the producer, is Ayumi Farms, and the tea specifically is called Wha-ha-ha 3 Year Bancha. There's a rather nice story to do with that, why it's called Wha-ha-ha. It's meant to be onomatopoeic for laughter. The story is that a group of friends went out to harvest this tea, to hack down the undergrowth and then to prepare it into bancha. Excuse me. And the whole process was one of congeniality and laughter and good-hearted good fun. Hence, it's called Wha-ha-ha 3 Year Bancha. So just a final word on the manufacturing, the processing of this kind of tea. Then we'll go to stage 2, which is a close-up of the packaging, because it's a lovely package, and then the tea within it, and then we'll come back to a review of the steeped tea. So, as I say, the big difference with this tea is it can either be aged for 3 years, or it can be 3-year-old when it's harvested. After that point, the manufacturing or processing is effectively the same. Assuming that this is new tea growth that's going to be cut down and aged, it's cut down, it's chopped up into manageable sized material. This is then steamed and dried, then it's aged for 3 years, then it's roasted. In the case of the 3-year-old bancha, like this, it undergoes all of those processes consecutively. It's sorted, chopped up, made suitable in that respect, then it's steamed and dried, and then it's roasted. So it's one contiguous process rather than being interrupted by 3 years of aging. So we're going to come back and take a look at the packaging and the tea, and then we'll have a drink. See you soon. Hello again and welcome to part 2 of our video. We're looking here at a close-up of our packaging for the Wha-ha-ha Sannenbancha. I really wanted to show you the packaging because of this decoration or illustration on the front, which is absolutely lovely. This has come from the Ayumi Farms themselves. Down at the bottom here, this is the information label from Ayumi Life, which in and of itself has a great deal of useful information. But this illustration here is absolutely delightful, and I'm sorry this is on its side, but I wanted to show it in its entirety. And just for your information, what we have here is Wha-ha-ha Sannenbancha. So I'm going to turn this over, and just to give you a close-up of the vast amount of information. There's all the standard information you would expect here. As you can tell down this right-hand side, or my right-hand side at the very least, we have the steeping information, various forms. There's storage information, there's information about the fact that this is low in caffeine, best before date, and all of that good stuff. I really just wanted to show you the packaging. So what I'm going to do now, and this is good stuff, this is the Sannenbancha itself. As you can tell, there are some leaf fragments, all fairly uniformly brown or very, very dark green. There are some what can only be described as wood chips here, along with the little twigs. And then you have this beauty here. I should point out that this here is the size of my little finger. So this is really, really rough and ready. When they say that it's basically cut back, what we've got in front of us, it looks like dried hedge trimmings. Thankfully, it doesn't smell or I presume taste like them either. But that is our Sannenbancha. See you in a mo. Hello again and welcome to part 3 of our video. We're now going to sample our steeped tea. So we have here 300 mils of pre-steeped tea, let's call it that, because there were no leaves inside the teapot here. It's been brewed and then poured out into here. So it's 300 mils of water, 100 degrees centigrade, a 5-minute steeping time with 5 grams of the tea. So let's see what we've got here. That's a very vibrant yellow. That is, there you go. That's absolutely spot on. You're seeing what I'm seeing, a very vibrant yellow colour. On the nose, more vegetal than woody, I would say. There's a hint of smoke or roasting, but it's not singed in the way that Cyittorattu, that was our first video, is smells singed. So let's give it a try. A little sweeter off the cup. That's really very satisfying. It's vegetal, it's sweet, but it's almost caramel. The roasting, I presume, has really brought out a kind of caramel note to it without it coming across as singed. It's almost in its own way a little bit like a roasted tea, a hojicha. That's really, if I'm being honest, it's something of a surprise. That's really, really, really refreshing and satisfying. Apparently it's very low in caffeine. Perhaps that's a combination of the processing and the age of the tea material that's being harvested. But if so, I could see someone settling down to drink quite a bit of that. So let's wrap up and make this a brief video. Does it taste good? It tastes wonderful. It doesn't have any knees or elbows. It's refreshing, it's hearty at the same time, it's sweet, but it's quite complicated. A touch of smoke, caramel in there as well, a wee bit of woodiness. From that point of view, I think it's absolutely wonderful. Is it easy to get hold of? Yes. Now, I suppose you might have to be careful whether you're buying 3-year-old Bancha or 3-year aged Bancha. I had to do a little bit of digging on, you know me, Life's website to make sure that I got one of each. So, spoiler, we're going to be seeing the other version soon enough. But it is very possible to get either or both of this kind of Sannenbancha. And is it easy to prepare? Well, all joking aside, yes, it can be brewed in a more prolonged way, but that was simplicity itself. So, absolutely no hesitation in 3 out of 3 from me. So all it remains for me to do is to say happy steeping and God bless.